3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, unless we come up with our own cue. So what's it gonna be?
Let's do one with Halloween.
1, 2, 3, go big T. Okay, all right. Rebecca, we'll see what happens there. If it's still there, the next time we'll add a little more to it. Is that okay with you? All right, here we go, everyone. Yep, that's it. 1, 2, 3.
Go big T.
The National Bioengineered Food Disclosure Standard, also known as Public Law 114-216, should be amended. The food we eat should have clear, consistent labeling so that every American can know not only what they pay for but consume. A quote by Senator Markey, written by the Energy and Commerce Committee Democrats in 2023. We are all consumers of foods. We all want to eat healthy foods and live healthy lives, but how can we know what is in our food? As a student studying biotechnology, GMOs have been a topic of discussion in my classes. Within my research of the problems, regulations, and rules of GMO labeling, mainly by the Congressional Research Service provided by the CRS reports written in 2020, I found that there are many loopholes in the labeling of GMO products. Should GMO labeling stay the same? I believe that the National Bioengineered Food Disclosure Standard, also known as Public Law 114-216, should be amended. It is essential to first know the history of the law, the problems that have arisen due to the law, the solutions, the practicality of those solutions, and the action you can take to amend the labeling of GMO products. When it first comes to the history of Public Law 114-216, according to Bass, who wrote an article in 2016 titled President Obama Signs GMO Labeling Bill into Law, he discloses that former President Barack Obama signed that law in 2016, it was announced in 2018, and put into effect January 1st, 2022. According to the Congressional Research Service written by the CRS reports in 2020, the purpose of this law was to be transparent about bioengineered ingredients and foods when it pertains to manufacturers, importers, and certain retailers. Now that we've looked at the history of Public Law 114-216, let's take a look at the rules. According to the Congressional Research Service, GMOs and bioengineered foods are the same. They are defined by having genetic material from ribosomal DNA. They are not found in nature or through crossbreeding and have 0.9% or more GMOs detected. Now that we've looked at the history and rules of Public Law 114-216, let's take a look at the problems. One problem, according to Zilberman, who wrote an article titled Why Labeling of GMOs is Actually Bad for People and the Environment in 2012, he says that one problem of bioengineered food is that people don't really understand what GMOs are and the science behind it. Another problem, according to the Congressional Research Service, is that there are some exemptions. Those exceptions include small restaurants, cafeterias, manufacturers, ingredients with 5% or less GMOs, animals that eat bioengineered crops, etc. Additionally, Laura Johnson, who was with the Non-GMO Project, wrote an article in 2021 titled, What is Bioengineered Food? She discloses that in multi-ingredient canned foods are exempt because they are determined by the content percent of the total ingredients. First, let's take a look at Farm Aid, who wrote a graph on the percentage of GMO acreage by crop. You see here that there's 94% of soybeans, 92% of corn.
Take us through that chart. What are we looking at? What is this a chart of?
Percentage of GMO acreage by crop. So
Okay,
it
where's
shows,
the acreage? Where's the crop?
it's
Show us.
94% of soybeans, 92% of corn, 95% of sugar beets, and 90% of canola are biologically engineered in the US. Now when we take a look back at this canned food item, pasta, grains, and meatballs, you see that there are 4 derivatives of the soybean and one of corn, high fructose corn syrup. As you can see, there is no bioengineered label such as this one here, but it does disclose at the bottom that it is a bioengineered food ingredient. Since it has more water and tomato puree in content percent, it doesn't have the bioengineered label. Now that we've looked at the problems of Public Law 114-216, let's look at the solutions. According to Yanaf, who wrote an article titled GMO Problem and Solution, he believes that educating people on GMOs and what they are, the science behind them, can be a possible solution. I also believe that we should include the labeling of organic and non-GMO foods in the standards. So every food item must be labeled as bioengineered, organic, or non-GMO. And according to Burbaum, who wrote an article in 2023 titled Protecting Consumers by Reforming Food Labeling Regulations, if an item is mislabeled, the company can be prosecuted by the USDA. Now that we've looked at the solutions to the problems of Public Law 114-216, let's take a look at the practicality of those solutions. Unfortunately, when we look at the first solution, which is educating people, at this point in time, people must do their research on GMOs independently. But if we're going to be labeling every food item as bioengineered, non-GMO, or organic, this labeling will help increase routine checks by the USDA, which results in more transparency and can be a possible long-term solution. And this is not a hard deal to bring to the USDA because they have a 1 to 1.7 billion annual budget for food and animal inspections. Now that we've talked about the practicality of those solutions, let's take a look at what we can do to take action. If you have any suspicion that a food product or a food product has bioengineered ingredients, you can go to the USDA's website with this link to file a complaint. It will ask you for your name, your contact information, the store's name, their location, and possible contact information. And then it will ask you about what you're trying to file a complaint about. It's required to put the date issue observed, the product name, what is the bioengineered product that you're concerned about, and the complaint description as to why you think it's mislabeled or it does contain bioengineered ingredients. And you can always refer back to the percentage of GMO acreage by crop by Form 8. Now that I've given you the information on the history, rules, problems, possible solutions, and the practicality of those solutions, as well as what we can do to take action, we can be more mindful when shopping. As a society, we need food, and hopefully now we are more aware of what GMOs are. If we can amend this Public Law 114-216, us as consumers will have full transparency on the quality of foods that we eat and bring to our families, just as Senator Markey advocates for.